online pornography to provide age verification before entering. Only adults allowed. Brett Farley of the Catholic Conference of Oklahoma tells AFN,
well, the bottom line is we want to give parents the legal right and the tools necessary to monitor and block content that obviously is harmful to their children, content that is pornographic in nature.
He says that one key feature of the legislation is that if online porn sites do not follow the new law, parents have the right to file a lawsuit to, in effect, give the companies a legal spanking in a court of law. Some porn companies are refusing to provide content in states with age verification and shut down service.
It creates pretty significant legal and financial liability for those companies, and ultimately they come to the conclusion that it's just too much risk to continue operating in these states when there's the possibility of significant punitive damages. So it's cheaper for them just to pull up their stakes and go home.
Actually, it's not that much of a chore for the porn websites to set up for age verification, so that parents can take control of the situation, not just on children's phones, but also on other devices, including computers and tablets. I'm Charlie Butts.
And finally, the nation's economy slowed sharply last quarter to a 1.6% annual pace in the face of high interest rates. But consumers, the main driver of economic growth, kept spending at a solid pace. The gross domestic product, the economy's total output of goods and services, decelerated from its brisk 3.4% growth rate in the final 3 months of 2023. More news available online at afn.net and on the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pete.
Well, good evening, everyone, everywhere, and it's another Thursday night. Yes, here we are on a Thursday night, and you're listening to Nick at Night. That would be me on First Amendment Radio, and I know my settings are a little messed up because I had to restart my computer, but you'll have to do with the brightness of my face. I'm thinking about getting rid of this green screen and going to bookcase in the background. Let me know what you guys think. I got a bookcase all picked out. I'm going to get rid of the green screen and a lot of the weirdness about the green. Never mind. It's a thing. But anyway, here we are. Genetic modification. If nobody else shows up, it will be genetic modification. It must have something to do with the days we're living in. And Epicus isn't even here tonight. But where would everyone else be on a Thursday night? I have no idea. Wake up, everybody. Wake up. And stay awake. All right, let's see. Let's see what the Babylon Bee has for us. Surprise. Surprise us, Babylon Bee. Okay. Wait a minute. Are they doing reruns again? 10 surefire ways for Republicans to win the female vote. I don't know. Is this like Groundhog Day or something? Or do they keep sending me the same thing? Huh. Okay, well, let's move on. Yeah. Unless you want to know 10 surefire ways. But I'm pretty sure we looked at this. But just in case we didn't, I guess we'll look at it again. After consulting several female experts, MAGA hats with pink bows on them. Yes, I remember that. Hand out glasses of wine at Target. Yeah. They're recycling some of their stuff in their emails. Just in case you missed it the first time we emailed it to you. Must be for all the people that don't pay attention to their emails. I think if they send it out 3 or 4 times, they'll finally get it. Yeah, the first thing I do when I open up my email every day is I start checking boxes of the things I'm going to delete. Bookcase without question. Authenticity reigns supreme. I guess that's what that says under the heart. Yeah, authenticity reigns supreme. Okay, bookcase it is. I have the bookcase all picked out. I think I'm going to paint it white first. Yeah, because it's an old bookcase. And then I'm gonna unpack all my books. I've been here 20 years and I still have books in boxes. Can you believe that? But I have books all over the place too, so I got books here. I got more books over here. And I got books down here on the floor and underneath there and over there and in my house and yeah, and like I said, then I have boxes of books, and there's another bookcase right outside the door there. So I can put them all in one bookcase behind me so everybody can see all the books I've read. And they might even think I'm smart, but I'll have them fooled. That's how that works. The old bookcase. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. What else we got here? Colombia protesters clarify they only want death to America after America's done paying their student loans. Yeah, these people, I don't get them. Death to America coming from Ilhan Omar. I like that her name begins with ill because she is ill. She's one of the things that ail America. And to think, I used to hang out in Dearborn, Michigan when I was a young man. I had family and friends there that lived in Dearborn. It was a heavily Polack region. Because my mother was Polish. Her name was Wysocki. And my best friend's name was David Dombrowski. Yeah, talk about Polish, huh? Yeah, hanging out in Dearborn, Michigan. Of course, now back then, it was really the Motor City, and Ford Motor made the car from everything there. I mean, they made everything right there in that part of Michigan, from the steel to the tires to the everything. Every part of that car could be made right there in Detroit. Yeah. That was back in the 1950s and 60s when I was born and a young lad growing up. So, but I wouldn't recognize it today, I'm sure. I haven't been, let's see, when was the last time I was back in Detroit? Boy, I can't even remember. It must have been, I'm trying to think really hard here. Oh my goodness, it had to be, oh man, it had to be the 1970s or 80s. Yeah, must have been the late 80s or the mid 80s. I don't know. It was a long time ago, though. Yes. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Oh no, that's a promotional. The Trump Bible translation. I think it seems like they're recycling this too. Video introducing the Donald Trump Bible translation. Yeah. Seems like they are recycling some of these. Okay, Columbia admins promise to carefully investigate whether "Let's kill every Jew we see on campus" chant violates school's conduct policy. Well, I know it's violating the policy of all of the alumni that are giving, and the people that are giving millions of dollars to the colleges are now withholding their funds. Well, because they're going to make it hurt. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad what things are coming to. And yes, they did this one too. DeSantis unveils massive circus cannon that will launch pro-Hamas protesters all the way to Gaza. Yeah. Okay, Alec Baldwin. Yeah, they did this. Huh. Oh, what's the date on this thing? Let me see. I must have the wrong date here. This says Wednesday. Okay, since I haven't been here since Tuesday, this is yesterday's. They must have known I wasn't going to do a show yesterday, so they recycled a bunch of stuff. Yeah, because I reran the morning broadcast. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Good to see Tom and Luke signed up in the room there. And yeah. So yeah, they're rerunning some of these here. Let's see if they got any new ones after that one. Yeah, they did the Alec Baldwin. I saw that one. That one I saw too. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Do I complain? Okay, wait a minute. Let's see, that's Wednesday. Today is Thursday. Let me check my mailbox, see if we got one after that. All right, the Babylon P. There it is. Let's try it again. Let's try that again. Maybe we'll find one. 10 famous presidential quotes. If all presidents spoke like Joe Biden. Why? I mean, what kind of mind would even think something like that up? But I have to take a look, okay? 10 famous presidential quotes if all presidents spoke like Joe Biden. Okay. Number 1. Babylon B is here to provide you with the following glimpse of what it would have been like if other presidents spoke like Joe Biden. You mean if they were losing their minds and becoming senile? Forgetting where they were and who they are and what year they're in and who they're talking to. You'd be that if they spoke like Joe Biden, like that? Yeah. 467, 865 million billion years. Anyway, Honest Abe spitting numbers, Joe Biden style is how it should be done. I get it. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this, the thing. A truly powerful moment in history from Ronald Reagan. Yeah, I see. This is kind of funny. We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because my uncle was eaten by cannibals. True story, folks. The space race was never the same after this gem from JFK. Yeah. Look fat, get off my plane. Who could forget this classic from President Harrison Ford? Okay, President Harrison. I think they're even getting their Fords mixed up. Yesterday, December 47th, the day that will live in infamy. America was attacked by air and naval forces of the Empire of Mexico. Franklin D. Roosevelt with one of the nation's most somber messages. Ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you. Ask. Ask what? Ask not what you can do for. Ask things. Yeah. John F. Kennedy with an inspiring word from a golden era of history. Okay. That depends on what the definition of start quote is end quote. Yeah, right. Bill Clinton got himself on hot water with this shrewd observation. Yeah, it depends on what the definition of is start quote, end quote. Yes. Read my lips. No new hotel junk fees. George H.W. Bush telling us all how to be prudent. Yeah, you mean a liar? Yeah, he said no new taxes, and he lied. Speak softly and carry well anyway. The encapsulation of Teddy Roosevelt's foreign policy that has guided us for decades. The only thing we have to fear is pause. No wonder FDR got himself elected in an unprecedented 4 times. Yeah, the opposing party didn't like that. They had to change the Constitution for that one. Getting elected 4 times, that is. Yes, they took the right of the people away to keep the president that they wanted. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So many inspiring speeches could have been made even better if they were given in the unmistakable fashion of Joe Biden. It's too bad every president can't capture the same magic. Yeah, I'm sure they could. But hopefully Joe Biden will be the last and only Joe Biden. Yeah. We'll never see another one of him. Okay, let's see. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. Dana Carvey posing as President H.W. Bush. Yeah, Dana Carvey did do a pretty good George Bush, didn't he? Yeah. But who could think that, yes, that Joe Biden could do one up on Bushisms. Bushisms? He had quite a few of them. They were fairly unique and had little to do with senility. Or maybe they had something to do with senility. Who knows? Yeah. Okay, moving on here. 10 famous liberals explain why they oppose free speech. Oh, I yawned. I got to drink this coffee a little faster. It's starting to get cold. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's go for it. 10 famous liberals explain why they oppose free speech. Let's hear it. While free speech boasts supporters such as Elon Musk and the Constitution, there are many Americans today who strongly disagree. The Babylon Bee asked 10 famous liberals why they oppose free speech, and here is what they said. 1. President Joe Biden. If people had free speech, they could, the thing. Pause. Well, anyway. Yeah. He knows that he doesn't know why he doesn't want the people to have free speech. He just knows that he wants them to not have free speech. That much we're sure of. Rachel Maddow, an MSNBC host. If people had free speech, we'd have to actually defend our ideas based on their merit. And if I'm being honest, our ideas suck. I agree. Yes, indeed. Number 3, Xander Higgins. I have no idea who that is. Facebook Trust and Safety Department. Okay. Would never know that. Honestly, I just get a euphoric thrill that runs down my spine when I censor people. Yes, that power feels pretty good. The power to shut people up. Number 4, Vice President Kamala Harris. Free speech is a term in 2 words. The first one begins with F, so basically, that's bad. That sounds exactly like something she would say. I think she might even said that. Who knows? But, yeah. So, the word salads that woman comes up with, they're pretty hilarious. If only she was trying to be hilarious, then she would make a great stand-up comic. She ought to try it out. She just has to try to be serious about any topic, and she'll have them roaring. Especially if you get them in a bar and put a few drinks in them. There you go. 5, Reverend Al Sharpton. Free speech is rooted in hate and systemic racism. I hate Jews. Yeah, That'd be Al Sharpton. There you go. 6, President Barack Obama. If speech were free, I wouldn't be able to charge $250,000 to give one at a fancy dinner. Give me a break. Yeah. And I'll bet you I work harder on 2 hours than he does on Eddie's speech. Yeah, he probably has his speeches are, I think they're like down to 20 minutes, but they sure sound good. Don't they? Yeah. Change. That's right. Did you know that Ron DeSantis is a fellow alumni member of the Delta Kappa Epsilon and elite fraternity at Yale? Yeah, I know that he's also a member of some secret society, Catholic secret societies. I looked it up once, and I forgot all the details, though, but yeah. Precedent. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we got to number 7, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Jackson Brown. I remember that guy. Wasn't he a pop or a folk artist or something? A folk singer? Jackson Brown? Yeah. But this Ketanji gal, she doesn't know what a woman is, so here's what she had to say about this. I don't know. I'm not a linguist. Yeah, she doesn't know what a woman is. I'm sure she doesn't know anything about free speech. I don't know what she's doing on the Supreme Court, but she's there. Yeah. Number 9, Secretary Hillary Clinton. Free speech is dangerous. If you say the wrong thing, it could get you killed. Just saying, be careful out there. Yeah. Or if you don't say the wrong thing fast enough, yeah, it might try to kill you before you say it. Liberal arts college students. What does that mean? I have no idea. Got me. Okay, if the above list of compelling reasons has not convinced you that free speech should be abolished, we don't know what to say. But if we did, we'd be totally allowed to say it because free speech. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, cancel culture. They're still selling the game. A message from the Canceled Club. And yes, get in touch with the people at Babylon Bee. If you want to play a card game, let's see, where you try to get your friends canceled because it's fun to shut people up. There you go. Hillsdale College reports no violent anti-Semitic protests for the 180th year in a row. Yeah. That's probably true. If you know anything about Hillsdale College, it's a private college that takes absolutely no government funding. And that's why they've remained unwoke. So, okay, next. Columbia switches to online classes so Jewish students can participate from the attics where they are hiding. Yes, indeed. Okay, and Asian kid who actually went to Columbia to learn getting real sick of this crap. Whatever. I don't know if I get it or not. But and let's see. I think they're trying to say that that Asians get corrupted by going to American universities. I don't know. Trump will receive a fair and impartial trial, says judge, as construction crew builds gallows outside courtroom. Yeah. Yeah, her jury selection is a little bit iffy. Yeah. They couldn't find anyone who wasn't liberal. Okay. Trump, that's the same one. Okay. Archaeologists discover fake $100 bill gospel tract used by Philip the Evangelist. There you go. Fake $100 bill gospel tract. And moving on here. L.A. Mayor's podium stolen during news conference touting drop in crime. Yep, that's the way it's going in some places in California. It must be election. Must be running for re-election. Just got to boast about how good things are. Just don't believe your eyes. Just listen to what I say. And don't pay any attention to the news. You know, the news always lies. Yeah, it does. Okay, Latin motto Dea to Kappa Epsilon is translated in English as friends from the heart forever. Yes. Yes, those are two books I'll have on my bookshelf. Code Word Babylon. Both editions. Both editions. That's right. I hear music. That means I'm going away. I'll be back in a few minutes. Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place in time and prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the sword that must be wielded to remove the scales from the eyes and dispel the darkness of deceitful conjecture. Secrets of the Rapture was written to expose that which the spirit of the age has conjured out of the darkness to blind the eyes of the church in the world today. Secrets of the Rapture, Deconstructing Pre-Tribulation Dispensational Futurism by yours truly, Nicholas Arthur, is now available at Lulu.com and Amazon. Secrets of the Rapture.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
All right, I'm back. Let's see. Luke says the Bushes launched DeSantis's political career. And, yeah, what chapter is that in Code Word Babylon? I've listened to Tom read the book, and I've perused the books myself. I have both of them. I just haven't had time to read them both yet. But one of these days I might get to it. Let's see. And that's why I don't trust DeSantis. He might be a deep fake. Yeah. Could be. Never know. I mean, I like some of the things he's doing, but some of the things he's doing I don't like. Like going over to Israel to pass legislation favorable to them in Florida. That seems a little weird to me. Anyway, let's see, not the bee we have today. See what they have to say. Opinion. Yes, opinion. Taylor Swift's latest album makes me wonder if she signed Satan as her chief lyricist. Well, I'm pretty sure she's probably sold her soul to the devil. No, it seems there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, how else does a saloon girl become that famous? Yeah. And I've never read any of her lyrics or listened to any of her songs. I just see pictures of her doing a saloon type show, you know, the kind you'd see in the Old West, you know, the saloon girls in the gaudy outfits. Yeah. Because that's what she wears, so saloon girl, gaudy outfits. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah. So, except instead of in a local saloon or with a bunch of cowboys drinking and saloon girls entertaining, well, she's up there entertaining the whole world. And yeah, it's crazy, but that many people want to see her, but you know, the Bible was right. It's the broad way, the popular way is the way to destruction. And Taylor Swift is leading a lot of people on that way. Yeah. And I'm sure she's has no object in her life of pleasing God, that's for sure. Okay, see. All right, Luke, we'll see you next time, man. Maranatha. Okay, truth isn't trendy. Okay, this girl joked about how to solve our money problems, but millions of finance bros took it seriously, so she went to war on the comments. I have no idea what that means. Okay, moving on. 3 toxic, no, that's a commercial. Millet says Argentina just had its first budget surplus in 16 years after gutting government bloat. Well, who would have guessed it? Yeah. And this queer art market for Palestine that's requiring masks is real. Read the details and you understand why the Babylon Bee can't compete with reality. Queer art market for Palestine, art market in silent, all local queer artists caption. This is a real thing happening on Saturday. So, yeah, for Palestine. Don't they know that, that those people would throw them off a roof? Yeah, because they don't cotton to sodomites very well. They'd be pitching them off of the roof of buildings. But hey, they're going to raise money for them. This guy wore a stop sign shirt to prank self-driving cars. This is a trend I could get behind. prank self-driving cars. Yep, see a stop sign, stop. Bro, if I lived in one of these self-driving Waymo tax hubs, Phoenix is the case, I'd own at least 4 copies of this shirt. I'd be doing this prank all the time. So, interesting. Self-driving. So they're really doing self-driving cars, huh? Huh. I thought they gave up on that. Oh, well. Yes, sir. I don't think I'd trust one. Oh. And they're self-driving cars. Where are these cars going and why? Or are they taxis? Oh, it does say self-driving Waymo taxi hubs. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Watch Zelensky's face when this U.S. congressman traveled to show him the $61 billion the House just approved for Ukraine. Yeah, I saw that. It's despicable. Just despicable what happened in the Congress. And them giving this man $61 billion so he can just throw it all down a hole. Yes, don't you like having higher prices for that? Don't you like paying taxes to support that? Yeah. Okay, Jared Jones threw one of the nastiest pitches of the year. If I were Bryce Trang, I'd retire after this one. Expecting a high fastball here as it shows. 1-2. Could have been a 2-2 count, was negated by this nastiness right here. Okay, well, I don't get it. I guess they're trying to make baseball more interesting. Because I've never seen that play before. At home base. Maybe a couple people sliding into home base could have ended up looking like that, but no. Okay, let's see what else we got. Texas police were questioning a boy for threatening to kill a classmate, and he admitted he killed a man in 2022 for no reason. The kids are not okay. He admitted that he killed a man in 2022 for no reason. Well, then they should lock him up. Yeah, not just questioning if he admitted killing someone in 2022. So, I mean, because who would brag about that? Yeah, to the police. Okay, we'll see. These poor people today. Okay, you can now purchase this flame-throwing robot dog for $9,500. Huh, what would I do with a flame-throwing robot dog? $10,000? Well, get one fast. Pretty soon that's what it's going to cost you a month to rent a place in your big city dweller place. I think they're already doing that in some places, people paying thousands of dollars a month for rooms, one-room apartments or whatever. It's a lot of money, but a flame-throwing pet. Just when you thought you saw everything. Right. Okay, they did the meme. So you may never own a home. Here's why maybe that's a good thing. They did the meme. Why is that a good thing? Because it's fun to be homeless? Or fun to just pay rent to somebody else? Exorbitant rents? You know, if rents were cheaper than owning a home, then I could see renting. Yeah. But from what I hear, rents are pretty high. Yeah. I haven't looked because I've been living in the same place for 20 years and not paying rent to anybody except for the state. They charge me sales property tax every year. That's the only rent I pay. because that's what it is. It's rent as far as I'm concerned, because if you don't pay the rent, they come and remove you from your land after so many years of not paying your rent. I think it's 4 years in California. But my rent now is probably equal to what it used to be to rent a house, say in the 40s and 50s. Seriously. Because you'd spend a couple $1,000s in the whole year to rent a place in the 40s and 50s, or 50s and 60s. Rent was cheap. So were houses. $10,000, you could buy the whole house. Yeah. Okay, I guess that's the end of that one. And, yeah, that's the end of that one. Boy, I wonder everybody's falling asleep. You guys are making me yawn. U.S. has given Israel $318 billion. What, this year or since when? Or do you mean the Ukraine? All right, we have a caller. Let's see if our caller actually speaks. Your name and where are you calling from? Yes, indeed. So is that $318 billion, and not in the last year, but since when? We just gave another $26 billion. Yeah, you keep giving that kind of money away, and it adds up after a while. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess this caller is never going to talk to us, so we're going to end that call, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to block this number and report it as junk. There we go. Dispatched that one. Okay. We have our redacted newsletter, Clown World. And happy Wednesday. It says we weren't here yesterday, so we're going to do Wednesdays today. And that way we'll have one on Saturday. See. A ban on plastics means that diners in Hong Kong will be rolling the dice when choosing sushi takeout. Choosing sushi takeout. Yeah, say that 10 times real fast. Choosing sushi shakeout. Choosing sushi takeout. Would you still buy it if you can't see it? Oh, you have to see it to buy it. So they display it in the plastic that they're buying it in. So would you still buy it if you can't see it? I think a lot of people wouldn't buy things if they didn't see them. Maybe they'd be better off. Because remember, we didn't have all that plastic stuff. Yeah. Okay, well, in case you missed it, more than 130 MPs, doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and other experts are calling for a public inquiry into the pervasive influence of transgender ideology in schools and the National Health Service in England. Yay, it's about time. Yeah. We want more than a public inquiry. I think we should have where were they building them gallows? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay, Robert Kennedy Jr. revealed that the NIH isn't allowed to investigate the cause behind mass shootings in the U.S. Turns out their own rules prohibit it. Not surprisingly, the common denominator in almost all mass shootings is depression, medications known as SSRIs. True. Very true. Redacted has covered this topic, and yes, and RFK has shown a light on it. Okay, we have another caller. Your name and where you're calling from? Or we should just say we have a caller. We have a calling. I'm not sure there is a caller. Maybe it's a robot or AI. Maybe our Guy Fawkes is really AI. And this AI has been tasked to keep an eye, keep AI on my program and harass me. What do you think? So we're just going to call it AI is on the line. Yeah. Well, AI, I'm ending this call right now, and I'm going to tell you that block and report as junk, that now you have to get a new number. Yes. So just strike one. You're out. That's it. Strike one. Okay. Power now. Power. If only you guys could feel the power. It's like having my own YouTube channel. It's where I can strike people out. One strike, you're out. Forget that three strikes. This ain't baseball. AI Guy Fawkes, what a cyber nightmare. There we go. All right. Moving on. Traces of bird flu were found in raw milk in 8 states. Who's going around the 8 states looking for raw milk? Hey, come on over here. I got some raw milk. You want to give it a PCR test? You know where to stick your PCR test, don't you? And just in case you don't, China will tell you where to stick it because they have experience. That's a true story too. Yeah. In case you forgot. But in case you missed it, yeah, they want to get rid of milk and meat now, and eggs and everything. So they're sticking PCR tests in any orifice they can find, especially so they could kill 1 million birds or slaughter a whole herd of cattle, or but it was raw milk. But they did that. I heard earlier that today, I think I heard it on DK's show, that they tested some pasteurized milk and they found it there too. If you use a PCR test, you can find anything, anywhere. So if you lose something, get yourself a PCR test. It might come in handy. You might find it. Yeah. What a joke the PCR test is. Yeah. And I can't believe that these people let them kill all their chickens. I mean, where do you stick it in the chickens? Like, do you stick it in the beak up into their brain? Or do you stick it in their nuggets? Or what do you do? I mean, how do you test a chicken? Chicken goes, ah. I mean, I have chickens. I'm sure they could probably find something there too. Yeah, PCR test. Unbelievable. Bird flu. Yeah, they're finding it in raw milk now. I mean, why would they even go, hey, what can we test? What else can we test? I'd like what was the president that got killed after he tested a guava or some kind of fruit, and it tested positive for PCR, tested positive, and he sent it in, and it tested positive. I think it was a guava fruit or some kind of fruit. Yeah. So if you want to prove something, and none of these chickens and the milk definitely is not sick. Okay, it doesn't have a flu, a bird flu. So this is crazy. Yeah. I just, who's going around doing this and what's their agenda? That's what I would say. Okay. Russia says that Deputy Defense Minister Timur Ivanov has been arrested on suspicion of bribery. Okay, well, yes, he'll probably get the death penalty because it's Russia, right? Yeah. Or at least that's what they would have you think. All right. Let's see. A Boeing plan. I think that's a typo. It's supposed to be plane. A Boeing plane made an emergency landing in South Africa last weekend after one of the wheels came off during takeoff. Well, did they fly to where they were going? I mean, because what the heck? It's not going to stop it from flying. It's just going to have a problem landing, whether you land it right away or land it later. Just saying. I mean, what would you say if you were on that plane? Should we go and should we try to land here or should we try to land there? Where the emergency services are best. Yeah. In case we land safe, which is maybe more likely. Yeah, at least like to be know where I'm going. Yeah, think about that. Well, gold is $23.18 and silver's still $27. Yeah, it might be up since yesterday. This guy, President Biden, let's see, is expected to sign 3 bills passed by Congress this week to send war funding to Ukraine to fund foreign wars in other countries when we haven't even declared war. The president begged Congress to pass these bills, and he got his way. Taxpayers are now on the hook for an additional $95 billion to be sent abroad for wars that American people do not support. And I think we ought to, every one of these Congress people that voted for this, next time they come up for election, we need to make a list, and we need to get it all over the place so that these people can be, anybody but them can be voted into office. Yeah. We got to be done with these peoples. Yeah. And I think we should also, people running for Congress, they should take a pledge that they will not take their salary and that they will end eternal salaries for Congress. Because, if you go into Congress, you get your salary and then you get your salary for life. That's your pension. That's their pension plan. Yeah, you didn't know that. See, they gave their salary to themselves. They passed their own pay. So that's what they did for themselves. Yeah, we don't get that. Yeah. Because if I could have got my highest paying salary for the highest paid years I had in my life, I'd be doing pretty good right now. Instead, here I am, retirement age, and I have to work. Not that I wouldn't work anyway, because I don't want to stop working. Because you know what happens when you stop working, right? Yeah, they put you in a box and bury you in the ground. So I don't mind working. So maybe they'll stop working, and they'll put them in a box and ground. We won't have to pay their salary no more. Yeah, but no, these people work at evil because now they have money to do evil. Yes, $15 billion given to military aid to Israel this Wednesday. That's true. And yes, we're paying pensions for government workers and employees in the Ukraine. We're paying salaries and pensions for their government. Yes, meanwhile, our veterans are sleeping in the streets and in tents. Oh, good to see you, No Box, over there in the chat room. See anybody else show up? No, nobody in the Rumble chat room. And nobody in the other chat rooms. Everything's on YouTube. Yeah. And there could be people in the other chat rooms that I'm not looking at. I don't have room to look at. I wish there was a chat room aggregator that would bring them all together into one chat room and I could see them all. Yeah. Had that with, it didn't work though. Yeah. Seems like it'd be a difficult thing to do. All right, let's see what else we got. Flamethrower for the dogs. Oh, yeah, they got that one, too. Forget gun control. Americans may soon be arguing about robot dog flamethrower control now that this bad boy has hit the market. Meet the Terminator. The Terminator. It went on sale this week in the U.S. Says $10,000. Get your Terminator dog. Here, boy. Yes. Go, Fido. Go get him. Light him on fire. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Arthur, and I'd like to introduce you to my latest book, Reformed Prophecy Interpretation, an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism in the 21st century. As with primitive biblical Christianity, historicism is the method of prophecy interpretation restored with the advent of the Protestant Reformation, and had become so widely held that for a long time it was called the Protestant view. My book is not so much about the errors of dispensationalism or amillennialism. Rather, it is about the historicist alternative to understanding many of the same passages from the vantage point of prophecy fulfilled in history. For those that desire more than mere hypotheses, bolstered with conjectured speculation, those who require explicit biblical exegesis and verified historical fulfillment, and are not willing to accept speculation as anything other than what it is. Speculation, not truth. This book is for you. Over the last century, this method of interpretation has become almost completely forgotten, even by Protestants, in the face of a method that is based almost entirely on future speculation, rather than fulfilled prophecy in history. In my book, I examine the reasons for this and investigate some of the prophecy which has been fulfilled in the interim, as well as present an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism to the 21st century. If you're interested in a copy of my book, you can go to my website, crosstheborder.org, and get more information there. Or you may also find it at Amazon. Well, I made it back. All right, well, there's this robo-dog. That's quite a show there. That's much better to see moving and the robo flame-throwing dog in action. Wow. I mean, no more weeding your garden. Only $10,000, and you can burn down the neighborhood. That'll come in handy. Yeah. Of course, someone could take it out with a drone, I guess. But do they? Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Terminator is a drone with an arc flamethrower that has a range of 30 feet and can be bought for about $10,000 from a company in Ohio. Not that this isn't impressive, but can you imagine if a school shooter got their hands on one? Is it even legal to have this? Yes, it is in every state except 2. California, which requires a permit for flamethrowers, and Maryland, which has a ban on them. Really, I'd like to. Where do I apply for my flamethrowing permit? Seriously, yeah. You could. I guess they would be good for firefighting. If you want to create a fire break, let RoboDog or the Terminator do it for you. The Terminator. Yes, indeed. In the words of Dr. Nefario, under what circumstances would you use this? Well, I just said it. For fighting fire with fire, for creating fire breaks. Yes, but it looks pretty cool jumping around there with that flamethrower. Yeah, what a dog! What a dog! My dogs just bark, but boy, to guard my property, might come in handy. Yeah. All right, moving on here. Let's see, just the tip. There are 2 good examples of lawmakers wasting their time with nonsense. New York Democratic City Councilman Schwan Abu introduced a bill to coax you into tipping your food delivery person on apps. It would force apps to set a minimum gratuity of 10% and force users to opt out of tips instead of opt in. Doesn't New York have bigger problems than this? All right, we have another call. We have another number. Let's see. Your name and where you're calling from? You're on the air with Nicholas. Boy, somebody. Yes, these robocalls, these AI, Guy Fawkes calls, yeah, I hear nothing. You guys hear anything? I have the volume up and, yep. Okay, well, we'll end that call and we'll go strike 1. You are out forever. Strike 1, you're out. All right. In California, lawmakers proposed a bill to end the CLEAR program in all California airports because they say that it's unfair to have people cutting in line just because they pay more. Propose a bill to end the CLEAR program in all California airports because they say that it's unfair to have people cutting in line just because they pay more. By that logic, first class should not board first or even exist. And neither should TSA pre or global entry, and neither should HOVE or hot lanes on the freeway. Talk about perverting the capitalist society. These lawmakers are useless. Yeah, California lawmakers are useless. That's for sure. So they got nothing better to do than sit up here and dream up stuff like this. Yeah. Yes, and that means that if you go in to buy an economy car, they should give you a Cadillac. You know what they're saying? Yes. Well, that would. All right, what's trending? Shogun is trending because the season finale for the FX aired on Tuesday, and fans are eager to know if there will be a second season. It seems unlikely because the show's creators said that they ended the show where the book ends, and that's that. Yes, so Shogun runs again. Yeah, I have a box set of Shogun. It's all VHS tapes, and it's from decades ago. So they redid Shogun. Okay, Houston Texans are trending because the team revealed new uniforms for the first time since the team's inception in 2000. Whoopee. Yes. Nicole Mitchell is trending because the Democratic senator from Minnesota was arrested for burglary on Monday. See? Bunch of crooks up there. Senators. Democratic senator from Minnesota. Could go with that other guy who stole women's dresses from airports and then wore them. Yeah. Isn't that what he did? Something like that? Yes. I think he went to jail, didn't he? Maybe not be a... Yeah, anyway, news by the numbers. Moving on here. Let's see. $500. That is the fine that Representative Thomas Massey was threatened with for posting a video of Democrats waving the Ukrainian flag after passing a bill to send the country more war funding. House Speaker Mike Johnson said that he does not agree with this and there will be no fine. Who's going to fine him? What if they didn't want to be seen waving another country's flag in our state house, then why did they do it? Yeah. Yes. And Mike Johnson, he made them all happily wave flags for a different country. All he did it, he was what was his price? Funding for Israel because they're God's chosen people. And, you know, if we don't support them with money, then we'll all end up in hell. God won't bless us. It's not working, is it? Yeah. I don't think the Bible says anything about funding a heathen government that doesn't even believe in God, right? And that rejects the Messiah. Yeah, I don't think when he said whoever supports Abraham, does it really say support? Yes. Yeah. And it says it to Abraham, not Israel. Israel didn't even exist yet. So, okay, 3.6%. That was the inflation rate in Australia in March. Yes. And why do we care? Yes, indeed. Billions to Israel. That's right. Okay, 8,500. That's how many new businesses may be created each year due to the new ban on non-compete clauses. Due to the new ban on non-compete clauses. Who's banning non-compete clauses? According to the FTC. Non-compete clauses. According to the new rule, employers cannot have any say in what their employees do next once they leave a job. I don't know. I think there's something in the Constitution about the government not interfering with contracts. So if someone an employee contracts with their employer and they agree to a non-compete clause for X number of years if they leave their job, because they're going to learn things, how to do things from that job at the expense and then go compete against their employer, I don't see anything wrong with that. And that is the new ban on non-compete clauses. Someone's going to challenge that because it's unconstitutional. Definitely. Yeah, I read the Constitution. I know what it says. Anybody else? So it says something about the government shall not infringe on, I don't know the exact wording, but yeah, contracts. They can't interfere with contracts, private contracts between individuals and yes, businesses and people out there. Yeah. And this Federal Trade Commission, no, that's beyond, that's not even Federal Trade Commission. I think they're only supposed to deal with foreign trade treaties, but not trade between the states, and definitely not interfere with business employee-employer relationships. Yeah. Anyway, 9%. That's how much Tesla revenue dropped in the first quarter of this year. The biggest decline for the company since 2012. Shares jumped by 13%, however, because Elon Musk said the company is aiming to release a new affordable EV by 2025. We promise. It'll be affordable. Oh, really? Is it going to be like $2,000 like the Chinese trucks? Yeah, for affordable, that probably means $40,000 or $50,000. That means I can't afford it anyway. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't think it's smart to. I mean, if you got a lot of money to burn, more money and you know what to do with, go ahead and buy yourself a new car. But most people, because your car devalues by 30 to 50% the minute you drive it off of the lot. So, I mean, that's taking a big hit immediately. So new automobiles are really a bad investment. Seriously. Let someone else buy the new automobile, and then you can pick it up on the repo. Because a lot of people don't make their payments pretty quickly. Yeah. So, let's see. Royal Mystery. April 23rd, 24, March 10, 2024. Oh, they're back to this Royal Mystery. Does this photo help you feel that all is well with Princess Kate? They're going back to this. They're recycling that. So we'll forget that. Yeah. Okay, that's all we got from Redacted. That's our redacted news for today. Well, what do you guys got? Let's see. Tom Raines in the chat room says 2010, 12 billion, 210 to 2020, 2010 to 2020, 20 billion, 21 to 2030, 8 billion to be given to Israel. Yeah. Yeah, 20. It's a lot of billions. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with $1 billion myself. You can't spend it all. It just sits in a bank somewhere, right? Yes, no wonder these people are buying up everything. No wonder, what's his name? Bill Gates is buying as much farmland as he can. Because when you have billions of dollars sitting in the bank, all it's doing is earning interest. And even if you're only earning a couple % interest, that's more than I make in a year. Yeah. Just what they're making on a little bit of interest, but they're not happy with that. They need more billions. Yes. It's a race to see who can get the most billions. And I know where those billions come from. It says, by the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence. That's what's going on with the wars and the money and the billions of dollars. That's if it wasn't for Satan's fiat money, a lot of this would not even be happening. If they had to have real money, yeah, they couldn't borrow money to send to other countries. Hey, we're giving money away. We'll borrow as much as you want. I mean, how ridiculous. I go to a bank and borrow money. They want to look me up and down today, yesterday, and forever, But to borrow money to give away to other countries by the billions? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's see. We got a caller. We got a phone ringing here. I'm not going to call them callers anymore because this is a new number. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is not a new number. It's a missed call. Your name and where you're calling from? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. Strike one. You're out. Forever gone. Rendering that number unusable. All right, let's see. Let's see. Sovereign Man has something to say. Settling the gold versus crypto debate. In 1972, while excavating to build a factory in the Black Sea coast of Bulgaria, a backhoe operator noticed gold objects glimmering in the bucket of his machine. The construction worker had accidentally discovered the Varna necropolis. Dating back to around 4500 BC, the jewelry found in this ancient burial site is the earliest evidence of the use of gold by humans, and archaeologists believe that they were considered as a status symbol in ancient burial rituals. Thousands of years ago, gold was likely collected from the Earth's surface in the form of nuggets or river dust. But it wasn't until about 3500 BC on a hilltop located in the modern-day country of Georgia that a group of people from the prehistoric Kura-Arxes dug the oldest known gold mine, known as Sakdrisi Kachigani. The gold mine predates ancient Egypt and even Mesopotamia. By around 2000 BC, commercial transactions involving gold were being recorded on cuneiform tablets in modern-day Turkey. Materials like tin and textiles were traded for a particular weight of gold because the first known gold coins weren't minted until around the 6th century BC. King Croesus of Lydia in modern-day Turkey used these coins to standardize the weight and purity of gold. After that, gold coins were used directly in commerce for thousands of years until the United Kingdom formally adopted the gold standard in the early 1800s. This was the first monetary system where a country's paper money had a value directly linked with gold. And even today, over 50 years since the U.S. abandoned its own gold standard, central banks around the world still hold vast quantities of gold as a reserve to store value. Individuals and large financial institutions do the same, and gold jewelry is still extremely valuable. That's quite a track record. For over 6,000 years, humans have valued gold. 15 years ago, Bitcoin was created, and today there are countless millions of people who believe crypto has value too. Now gold and crypto are completely different and seldom belong in the same sentence. But for some reason, there are often heated debates between proponents of each who argue bitterly over whether gold or crypto is better. No other asset class attracts such conflict or controversy. You don't see passionate oil investors engaging in riotous debates with natural gas speculators. There's no heated argument over wheat versus soybeans, but gold and crypto are sometimes positioned as diametrically opposed, and this is just silly. Each asset has its function. Gold has an enormous amount of value, and I have actually argued that it is still undervalued, even at its all-time high. I've written extensively about the U.S. government's financial woes. The national debt is closing $35 trillion. That figure is set to grow by 20+ trillion over the next decade, according to government-owned financial forecasts. In addition to new debt, the amount of debt the U.S. government has to refinance over the next 5 to 7 years is staggering, literally tens of trillions of dollars, and all of it will be refinanced at higher interest rates. This means that interest payments on the national debt will keep growing like a malignant tumor. In fact, this year, the amount of interest paid on the national debt will exceed defense spending for the first time in U.S. history, and it will only keep rising. Gold will most likely do very well in that scenario, but more importantly, foreign governments will likely move away from the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency over the next 5 to 10 years, and gold is the most likely asset to replace the dollar. Central banks are already buying more gold as a reserve, and when the dollar loses its dominant global reserve status, countries are likely to turn to gold as a stable alternative that they can trust because they already own it. Simultaneously, crypto also has a lot of benefits. If you hold 100% of your savings in the financial system, whether bank, brokerage, you might be surprised to find out how easily it is to lose access to your funds. Government agencies can seize your account without due process, even by mistake. Banks can fail, they can freeze your account and force you to prove that you're not doing anything wrong. Plus, even the mundane bank transfers these days are heavily scrutinized. I had an exasperating conversation with a bank not long ago when I tried to send money to my sister, and it required all sorts of paperwork and justification to send my own money to my family. Crypto is a great way to bypass all that mess, to simply send money from point A to point B directly without any middlemen whatsoever. Crypto exists digitally, so it can be moved across borders easily and at no cost. And if you know what you're doing, you can hold it yourself without any third party or even special security equipment. And this is an incredibly unique feature. Yeah. So anyway, that's very interesting from James Hickman there. The used to be known as the Sovereign Man. Yeah, so yes, if you need to move money across borders, because you want to send cash, well, banks want to question you now more than ever before. So crypto may be a way to move large amounts of money without being scrutinized, and I'm sure that that's why the government hates it and will likely, put an end to crypto someday, because crypto can disappear just as fast as it appeared, because it was nothing and it can become nothing. It's just like I tell people that live down in the valley here behind me that I said, if it used to be flooded with water, one day it will likely be flooded with water again. That's an entire valley down there where they're growing crops and cities and housing tracts. Yes, there's dams all up and down the valley for hundreds of miles holding back the water. And but one day, that's pretty sure that if it was underwater once, it will likely be underwater again. That's why I live above the lake level, or at least what used to be the lake level. Above, we have Old Stagecoach Road over here in California, along on the west side of the Sierra Nevadas, Old Stagecoach Road, and it's over here in the foothills, skirting the mountains above what used to be the lake basin in the big valley here. And this valley goes hundreds of miles up and down the state. Just look at a topographical map, or you could look at Google Earth and you can see the valley. Yeah. And you can realize, well, they used to you could take a boat from Bakersfield to Sacramento in a lake that is no longer there. Yeah. True story. Okay. Let's see. Babylon Bee's best. Oh, yes, we already looked at that one. Yep. All right, well, figure out something. Got any comments, suggestions, questions for the last segment coming up, please let me know. Meanwhile, I'm taking a break. I'll be back in a few.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
There I am. I did make it back. Okay. Let's see. What would you guys like to talk about? we could look at more headlines. And we have tariffs are taxes on Americans, but protectionists pretend otherwise. And you can see there's the libertarian thought of LouRockwell.com. Debunking all the main arguments for antitrust laws. Yes. Debunking all the main arguments for antitrust laws. Antitrust laws debunking. Yeah. Epistemic insecurity. Well, these are some pretty heavy topics here. What would you like to talk about? Will Zionism self-destruct? There's one for you. We're all interested in Zionism. Yes, we're talking about worldly Zionism, the brand of Zionism that says that the Jews are going to rule the world. Of course, that's a delusion by some people who thinks that the Jews are going to rule the world. They believe in the what is that document that the Jesuits made up and attributed to the Jews? Can't think of it. Let's see. We will forever fully support Israel's right to exist. Jesus Christ is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. USLC. You know, I support their right to exist. Definitely. Yeah. I support everybody's right to exist because they're here. But I don't have to support their government because I don't like their government. Yeah. I don't think their government is a godly government. I don't think they love my King Jesus at all. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that they hate him, and they don't even like Christians in their country. The only Christians they like are the stupid ones in America that worship them and send them billions of dollars every year. So they pretend to love Christians that much. They like Christians like John Hagee. Yeah. That's the kind of Christians they like. Oh, and like Mike Johnson, who is deluded. Yeah. Hamas equals Haman. Well, it does. They do have a name similar to each other, Hamas and Haman, but you know, it's kind of a sounds alike thing, but doesn't mean that it's the same thing because it sounds like it. But yes, I'd like to see your thesis on that. Seriously, but yeah, you know, I'm so glad that there are missionaries over there in Israel preaching the gospel to those poor Hebrew people or Jews, whether they're Hebrew or not. Yeah. That let the gospel be preached to every nation, as the word says. You've taken leave of your senses. Oh, let the guy be happy. Yeah. But, well, I hope he's sending all his money to Israel if he really thinks that's what it means to support them. I support the gospel in every land. Yeah, I do. You know, I'm all for it as far as, you know, if I'm just virtue signaling. But as far as sending my money, I'm glad that there are people that do send money for the gospel to Israel, but I'm not sending any of my money to Israel for the gospel. I never even thought of doing it. Yeah. I feel like I'm giving where God wants me to give. So that's how I support, you know, the gospel and the poor. You know, if I send money, support, but no, to your family first. Yeah, because anyone who doesn't take care of his own is worse than an infidel. Didn't you read that? I read that in the Bible somewhere. To the Jew first. Yeah, well, salvation was to the Jew first. That is true, because during the 70th week, Jesus said, I have not come but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the gospel is preached to the Jew first. And then when the 70th week was up, then the Holy Spirit was also poured out on the Gentiles, because it was about 34 AD. And as those Jews were astonished that the Gentiles were also receiving the Holy Spirit. But the 70th week was over, and so was Israel's time as a set-apart nation. It was done. 70 weeks are determined. Yeah. And then, of course, by God's mercy, he let them hang out there until 70 AD, when he brought the destruction, as prophesied by Jesus himself, on the nation of temple. By Jesus, and of course Daniel prophesied the same destruction. So yes, the gospel did go to the Jew first. I agree with that, Happy. I read the book and I just told you about it. Yeah. So, but he says the 70th week is still yet future. Okay, well, what was that week that followed the 69th then? Was that like 71? And if the 70th week wasn't after the 69th, and I thought the 70th week was the Messiah's week, because the prophecy says 69 weeks unto Messiah the Prince. Yeah. I think you're a little mixed up there, Happy. You got to show me that in the Bible, man. Because it's, what you're saying isn't there. We have another caller here. Let's see if we can get him to say anything. What have you to say, caller? No, got nothing to say. So, yeah, if the 70th week didn't follow the 69th week, then the prophecy is false. Good God, I hope the 70th week did follow the 69th week. Yeah. Otherwise, the prophecy isn't complete. If Jesus didn't come after the 69th week and show up at the Jordan River baptism, if he wasn't cut off in the middle of the week following the 69th week, in the midst of the week, he shall be cut off, but not for himself. And in the midst of the week, he shall put an end to the sacrifice and oblation, which he did by the sacrifice of himself for our sins in the midst of the 3.5 years after the Jordan River baptism. That's what he did. So that was in the midst of the following week, the final week, the 70th week. Yeah. So, and I'm being the literalist here. It says 70 weeks. I believe it. So you must not be a dispensationalist, because they claim to be the literalists. And, yeah. So I'm being literal here. When it says 70 weeks, I believe it. I don't see any gaps or let's wait 1,800 years or anything like that. I see unto Messiah the Prince. Jesus showed up. He qualified as Messiah because he was 30 years old. And you had to be 30 years old by the law to assume a high priest position. And Jesus did that. He forgave sins. Only a high priest could do that. And only him as high priest could do that, because none of the other high priests could forgive sins, except by the temporary covering of the blood of bulls and goats. So Jesus sacrificed himself as our high priest in the midst of the week. Put an end to the sacrifice oblation by the sacrifice of himself, so that bulls and goats were no longer acceptable. They became an abomination. And even though God put an end to the sacrifice, and there was an earthquake, and the veil in the temple was rent from top to bottom, those stupid Jews, they went and repaired the veil in the temple and made the necessary repairs so they could continue the animal sacrifice in the temple. Abomination. Yeah. Because that's what the abomination that maketh desolate is. It's a wrong sacrifice. Ask Daniel. Wherever abomination appears in Daniel, it's what we're instructed in Matthew to do, to look in Daniel to learn about the abomination that maketh desolate, being a wrong sacrifice in the temple, and that's what happened. No, I'm sorry. Chapter 12 of Authorized King James Bible doesn't say that I am false. I would like to think that I'm in the Bible, but I'm not. And I've read chapter 12. Yeah. And you have to tell me what I'm saying is false. Yeah. What exactly does it say that you're referring to there in Daniel chapter 12 that says what I'm saying is wrong? Because here I got it. Chapter 12, here it is, Authorized King James Version. That's the one I use. You can see it right there on the screen. Which verse are you referring to? And from the time the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, shall be 1,290 days. Yeah, and that's because it was in the middle of the week. And 1,290 days was the remainder of the week. And then the 70th week ended, the time determined for Israel was over with. It says, the abomination that maketh desolate set up. It was set up. The abominable sacrifices, when they reinstituted the animal sacrifices, that was the abomination in the temple being set up. It was an abomination because God sacrificed his own son for our sins, and for them to set up the animal sacrifices again was an abomination. Made a standing practice in the temple. Because God signified by that earthquake, by the renting of the veil in the temple from top to bottom, that the sacrifice was done in the midst of the week. When Christ was sacrificed his own life for our sins as our high priest. That's it. You can't argue with that. That's history. That happened. And yes, this is what Matthew is referring to when he said, let the reader understand, after pointing us to, after the Messiah points us to Daniel to understand. This is it. That's exactly what he was referring to. And there was that, and it was in the midst of the week. There was 3.5 years left. So 1,290 days. That's 3.5 years, especially if they had a second Adar in one of those years. I'm probably losing you here now, right? Anyway, it's good to have you back, Happy. But you need to understand. I got a gift for you, Happy. Here I'm going to put it in the chat room for you. You can read my book on the Abraham Accord, and then you can come back and you can intelligently try to refute what I'm saying, okay? Anyway, there you go. My gift to you. Free copy of my book, The Abraham Accord. Okay, that's the Abraham Accord there. Yeah, anybody else, you can spread that book around, give it away. There's a lot there to take away. You're incorrect. Daniel says it's still yet future. The final 70th week is still future. Oh, you are a bozo. Oh, good. Ad hominem attack. That's right. You can't intelligently refute anything I'm saying, so now you just call me names. I just send you a PDF. There's no paper. Sorry. So it's not good for toilet paper, but it will enlighten you. But you don't want to intelligently refute anything I'm saying. You're afraid, if you read my book, you're afraid that you won't be able to refute what I'm saying. So I'm challenging you, and I'm not going to call you any names. But that's what unintelligent people do. They revert to calling names. Yeah. So, but anyway, there it is. Yeah, intelligently refute what I'm saying. It's in the book. It's written down for you. There's no way for me to wiggle out. You have it in writing. So, and here, I'll point you to the right chapter here. Let's see, go to chapter 2, 7-year tribulation, virgin confusion. You can go to, let's see, chapter 4, the New Testament temple. Yeah. Refute me on those things. Refute me on anything you can in the book. I'll be waiting. Yeah. No, I won't hold my breath. But anyway, there it is. It's in anybody, pass it around. You might learn something there. Happy. I hope you will read the book. And if you really think I'm wrong and you could show me in the scripture where I'm wrong, I will repent. I will rewrite my book. I will throw them all away. I will write a book that says I was wrong. And Happy showed me where I was wrong. Please. Because I'm looking for the truth. That's how I've got to where I'm at. Because I was looking for the truth. Because I wanted to teach. Yeah, I wanted to teach dispensationalism. Because that's what I learned when I started teaching the Bible in 1995. And I thought, all right, I get to teach on prophecy. The only problem was I couldn't find a pre-tribulation resurrection call to rapture anywhere in the whole Bible. So I thought, well, I can't teach that. So I became a post-tribulationist. And like I say, I had a lot to learn. Yeah. And somebody's still listening on the line, this caller. Yeah. But this isn't a listening line, so I'm going to hang up there. And let's see, block that number because I can't just have one number on all the time. Okay. He says, you're not looking for truth. You want recognition for writing books. If I wanted recognition for writing books, I would write the books that the world wants to read. I would write books on the rapture if that's what I wanted. I know what's popular and I know what's not popular. Okay? The truth is what's not popular. Okay? What's popular is what everybody's doing. Have you read Matthew chapter 7, my friend? Did you know that Matthew chapter 7 points out the fact that most of the people in the church are tares? And that few are wheat? That most people are in the broad way to destruction? And the way to life is the narrow way, and few there be that find it? Yeah. So if you want what's popular, then yeah, then you go here. Go, look, here's what's popular. You'll never find my books here. Okay, here it is. Bestsellers in Christian prophecies. Rapture, 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 pre-trib rapture books. Fill it up. All this is pre-tribulation rapture books and other nonsense. This is what's popular. If I wanted recognition for writing books, I would write books like this because I could write them easily, except it would bother my conscience to write this kind of crap and sell it to Christians. And I'll tell you what, I would not want to stand before the judge of the universe on the day that judgment comes and have to answer for writing this stuff and deceiving the least of his people. These are the people that want and get recognition, not me. I'm not out here shadow banned with 5 listeners to my broadcast because I want recognition, buddy. You have no idea what you're talking about. You haven't been me for 30 years. You have no idea what you're talking about at all. You're living in a fantasy world because you believe lies. Wake up. Because you won't even bother to consider anything other than what all of these people that wrote all of these books have already taught you. Well, they taught me the same thing. Some of these books here, I can probably find the books that I read 50 years ago. Here's one right here, The Late Great Planet Earth. That was one of the first books I read in the 1970s after I became a young Christian, and I believed in the rapture. I believed it. And it's all full of lies. And I believed it until the 1990s when God called me to start teaching out of the Bible. And I said, well, I'm going to teach because whatever I teach, I have to find in this book called the Bible. And I'll tell you what is not in there. There's no pre-tribulation resurrection at all. None. There are only two resurrections. One at Christ's return and one at the end of the millennium. And I'm going to be in that one when he returns. And it's not a pre-tribulation one. It's not been divided into two. No such thing in the Bible. This book is a lie. It lied to me. 1970, right? I read the book in the 1970s, and I believed it because all my preachers, everywhere I went to church, they preached it from the pulpit. When I listened to Bible teaching on the radio, they all taught the same thing. Every single one of them. It wasn't until I started reading the Bible and had to teach it for myself, I thought, well, I can only teach what's in here, and I cannot teach a pre-tribulation rapture called a resurrection, or a resurrection called a rapture, because they've redefined the word rapture to mean a pre-tribulation resurrection. It's a lie. It isn't in the Bible. And that's all there is to it. And also put a gap in Daniel's 70 weeks. All of these people are putting the gap in Daniel's 70 weeks. You know what God said to them? You know what God says to them? If you add to my book, I'm going to add the plagues that are written in the book to you. Well, I'm not going to have any plagues added to me because I'm not adding to his book. There's no gap in between the 69th and the 70th week. Not to be found. The 70th week is the Messiah's week. It does not belong to the Antichrist. The Antichrist there's no Antichrist in the Daniel 70 weeks prophecy anywhere. They take the Messiah's week and they give it to the Antichrist. Another lie. I mean, they take Jesus' week, the very week of the Messiah that he showed up for. Are you going to tell me that Jesus didn't show up at the end of the 69th week? That he wasn't born for that day? That wasn't his week? And you're going to give it to an Antichrist who doesn't even appear in the text at the end of time to vindicate the true Antichrist and his great apostasy? Because that's all you're doing, is you're vindicating the true Antichrist by parroting his counter-reformation false eschatology. Because that's what it is. There it is, since the 1970s. And it's still in the top 100 today. See, I know what I would have to write if I want to sell a book that makes a lot of money. I am not blind, not an idiot. I'm just a man who won't speak lies and fears God more than all of these authors. Well, that's all I have time for today. May the Almighty bless you and keep you as you travel on the narrow way that leads to life. I'll see you next time. Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place in time and prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the sword that must be wielded to remove the scales from the eyes and dispel the darkness of deceitful conjecture. Secrets of the Rapture was written to expose that which the spirit of the age has conjured out of the darkness to blind.
American Family News, I'm Robert Thornton. Former President Trump's New York hush money case continued today. Former American media CEO David Becker told the court that former President Trump had an agreement with Stormy Daniels, and every time she said his name, she would have to pay $1 million penalty. One of the exhibits presented in court was a Wall Street Journal article from January of 2018, which revealed Michael Cohen paid Daniels to stay quiet. The evidence was presented, quote, not for the truth, but to show that it was printed on that date. President